Yes! Hey everyone, and welcome back to another brand new episode of The Completionist. A ton of people assume that I am a console enthusiast, as that's what's mostly what I play here on the show. And while I would say they are sort of right, I love PC gaming. I specifically love the old days of point-and-click adventure games in the shadow of that of LucasArts. Day of the Tentacle is one of my favorite PC games, and when it was announced they were remastering it, I knew I had to not only complete it, but I had to complete it with one of the best in the PC YouTube reviewing genre. Everyone, welcome for the first time to the show, BrutalMoose.
Hey Gerard, I don't think I would claim to be an expert in the PC reviewing genre, especially since I haven't even played this game before. I'm just looking forward to another authentic PC gaming experience.
Whoa, you have never played this game, let alone completed it? Huh, and you call yourself a PC duder.
I never claimed to be a PC duder?
Psh.
Now hold on.
Psh.
Gerard, let's raise the maturity levels a little bit.
Psh, psh. Psh, 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 psh.
Is this just how it's gonna be?
It's kind of sad when you realize that video game genres aren't immortal. Some genres seem to be virtually evergreen. Others will wax and wane in popularity, while some others will die out completely, never to come back. Do you guys remember rail shooters? Everybody had a House of the Dead 2 machine at their local movie theater, right? And don't you pretend like you didn't own at least one Guitar Hero or Rock Band at some point. Finding those old plastic instruments out in the wild must be like discovering dino fossils of today.
And then there were the point-and-click adventure games. Born and raised on the PC side of gaming, these things were considered a niche genre even in their heyday. But they held a special place in a lot of older gamers' hearts due to their evocative visuals, puzzling gameplay, and clever writing. Now, we're not saying that these genres are completely dead. After all, Telltale Games is keeping the point-and-click torch burning strong with its beloved franchises such as Tales from the Borderlands and The Walking Dead. But back in the day, one of the giants of adventure gaming was Lucasfilms Games. Lucas Games? Nope. Lucasfilms Games. Go figure.
They're the guys that gave us Grim Fandango, the Monkey Island games, and in 1987, a little title called Maniac Mansion. The game featured a motley gang of kids who explored a creepy old mansion. Not that gang of kids, this one. The game's premise involved the kids breaking and entering into the mansion in order to rescue one of their own. But the place is inhabited by a mad scientist known as Dr. Fred Edison, his crazy messed up family, and two sentient talking tentacles. The purple one's kind of a dick, but the green one is a cool man.
The game performed admirably with critics and became a classic among point-and-click fans, as well as one of the quintessential titles in the genre. It even spawned a TV show. Was it anything like the game?
She's giving me the eyes. I'm like Putty when she does this.
God no, but it had its own show. That's impressive. A sequel to Maniac Mansion the game was inevitable, and the game's lead developers, Tim Schafer and Dave Grossman, focused on improving every possible feature they could. The new game boasted full voice acting, improved visuals in the style of old-school cartoons, and a time travel theme.
When this sequel, known as Day of the Tentacle, was released in 1993, critics and fans immediately recognized just how much more advanced it was than its predecessor. It became a favorite of PC players everywhere, and March of this year saw the release of Day of the Tentacle Remastered, a faithful recreation of the original Day of the Tentacle with updated visuals, sound, and interfaces. It just goes to show that you can never count out a classic genre. Now let's get to work on taking down this villainous tentacle once and for all. But now really, how evil is he? I mean, look how cute he is! He's just so damn cute. How could something this cute be that evil, huh? I really do. All right, look, that's not, he's not that, he's just a... Ah! He's a knife! Alex! Alice, your dog has a knife!
Our tale opens with an idyllic, peaceful landscape, which leads to a noxious industrial waste pump that's horribly polluting the surrounding area. The two tentacle characters from Maniac Mansion, Purple and Green, just happen to hop by when Purple gets the bright idea to take a sip of the sludge. Rather than immediately keel over and die, he actually feels stronger and smarter than ever, and eventually mutates into a hideous, grotesque tentacle with 2 arms. With his newfound confidence and limbs, Purple sets off to take over the world.
We're then introduced to our heroes. Laverne, a kooky medical student who looks like she's on too many drugs, or not enough drugs. Hoagie, who looks as if Slash from Guns N' Roses and Danny DeVito did the fusion dance. And then there's Bernard, the achingly stereotypical geek and only returning kid from the original Maniac Mansion crew. Kinda makes you wonder why none of the other kids are present. They died.
There's a knock at their door and they receive an urgent message, via hamster, from Green Tentacle. The message warns that Dr. Edison is going to eliminate them both since Purple Tentacle has mutated into some kind of evil genius. And even though Bernard swore to never return there, he and his pals load up into his pickup and head towards Maniac Mansion to save his tentacle friend.
Upon arriving, Bernard successfully frees both tentacles, who are tied up in the basement, allowing Purple to escape. Since they're the ones responsible for unleashing Purple's hellish 2-armed wrath upon the world, Dr. Edison commands the kids to fix the problem by traveling through time. The plan is to send them back one day into the past with Dr. Edison's newest invention, the chronogens. That way, they can stop Purple Tentacle from drinking the toxic waste in the first place.
But unfortunately, Dr. Edison cheaped out on the materials that power his time machines, and both Hoagie and Laverne are accidentally flung off course in the River of Time. Hoagie lands in the colonial period, complete with famous American forefathers, while Laverne winds up in the far future, where evil tentacles have completely taken over, subjugating humans to the role of pets. It kinda takes the wind out of your mission's sails when you get to see the end results of your inevitable failure firsthand before you even begin.
Back in the present day, it's up to Bernard to find a way to bring his friends home and stop the Purple Tentacle from enacting his plan of world domination. But I gotta be honest here, I like Bernard's attitude and all, but he doesn't exactly inspire the most confidence as a protagonist. He's a bit too non-athletic. You know what I mean? Like, he lacks the social skills to... How do I put this delicately?
Playing Day of the Tentacle Remastered is like playing through a classic Looney Tunes era cartoon. And with the HD upgrade, this cartoon looks and feels better than ever before. Since all of the original game's backgrounds have static camera angles, and because you revisit them so often as you're spelunking for clues and items, each room has become somewhat iconic in its own way. Thankfully, the remaster painstakingly recreates each of these hyper-detailed scenes in a way that makes them look gorgeous. Well, maybe gorgeous isn't the right word, but you get the point.
The characters themselves are full of even more detail and personality. There's so much nuance to their individual animations that you know exactly what a character is all about before you even speak to them. Now that's just good character design. But when you do strike up a conversation with one of the mansion's many oddballs, the game's writing begins to truly shine. In a game that relies so much on its narrative and humor, a lot of the responsibility falls on the voice actors, and they knock it out of the park.
We need a babe in a leather bikini swinging a broadaxe.
The game's sound effects and music are also heavily influenced by classic cartoons. Much like the merry melodies of yesteryear, the soundtrack is constantly shifting to reflect and play off of whatever's going on at the time.
This game is genuinely funny. There's a lot of different kinds of humor thrown around, so there's bound to be something for everyone. Like, look at this scene.
I can't even do this right.
Or this fourth wall breaking moment here.
You see, kids who put hamsters in microwaves back where I'm from get taken away from their parents and put up for adoption.
And since this is a LucasArts game, there are plenty of references to good old Star Wars too. Thanks, George. Or what's left of you.
Day of the Tentacle takes aspects of games that are usually ignored or underdeveloped and takes off running with them. Let's face it, when a lot of games make genuine attempts at comedy, they usually fall flat. But the humor, visuals, and sound are all top-notch here. It feels like an episode of the zany, animated version of Maniac Mansion that we should have gotten instead of the show we got from 1990. Can we go back in time and make that change, please? And you know what, while we're there, can we make it so that Arrested Development never went off the air? And so that Angela Bassett played Storm in the first X-Men movie? And for the love of God, can we please bring back these cheese balls? Delicious.
Day of the Tentacle doesn't have any levels, doesn't have any combat, and your characters don't gain any new abilities as the game progresses. It's just you versus the puzzles. In a sense, the entire game could be seen as one gigantic puzzle that has you taking control of 3 different characters across 3 different time periods in order to solve it.
The game gives you very little direction in how to accomplish your tasks, so it often takes a lot of imagination and experimentation to get past some of the game's more obscure challenges. Day of the Tentacle is like a proud parrot, sending you off on your own to explore point-and-click games and make all kinds of mistakes.
The controls are super simple. Clicking on an item or area will automatically move your character right to it. When interacting with an item, the little click wheel will appear on screen, giving you a slew of choices in how to exactly interact with a given object. Almost every item in the game will end up being an integral piece of a puzzle sooner or later. And even though many of these puzzles are extremely convoluted, that's kind of the challenge of the game. Certain things won't become clear until well into the end game, and many items will seem utterly useless until just about the right moment.
But the best puzzles in the game are the ones that require the player to think fourth dimensionally. Since your playable characters are separated through time, they'll often be unable to progress in their own personal puzzles without assistance from one of their friends. Like when Laverne is stuck in a tree in the future, so Hoagie convinces George Washington to chop that same tree down while it's still a youngin'.
Yeah, or like when Laverne needs a crank to raise a flag up a pole, so Bernard sends her the crank from the very same flagpole in the present day. But does that mean the reason the crank was missing in Laverne's future was because Bernard took it? If he just left it there, would it have been waiting there for Laverne? Oh, oh, nosebleed. Oh, my nose is bleeding. Oh, time travel. Oh boy.
Successfully completing certain puzzles will advance the narrative, which usually means that you'll be treated to a cutscene. There are a lot of these throughout the game, but they're actually enjoyable thanks to the game's well-crafted sense of humor. Day of the Tentacle's gameplay may be simple, but it's still a blast, especially when you get into a puzzling mood. Not to mention that the concept of helping your friends out by sending them items through space and time is pretty novel. Right, Gerard?
That's right. Alex, come get your dog. He's gonna murder someone. It's not gonna be me. I'm not going down because of a dog. Punk ass dog. By the way, Snapple fact of the day, baby bunnies are called kittens!
After successfully returning Hoagie and Laverne to the present, Bernard and the gang are preparing to resume their original plan of traveling back to yesterday and stopping Purple Tentacle from becoming a 2-armed freak. But before they can get going, the villain himself appears and hops into one of the chronojohns. Green Tentacle follows after his brother in another one of the time machines, leaving only one more for the kids to use.
Which ends up melding them together into some kind of Cronenberg monstrosity that henceforth we shall now refer to as Labergy. But before the 3-headed buffoon even has a chance to process their new lifestyle, Purple Tentacle shows up with an entire army of himself from throughout time. Among them is an old and powerful version of himself from the far, far future, who wields a diminuator which shrinks its targets. Labergy flees back into the mansion and manages to hide, setting the stage for the final puzzle of the game.
The last section isn't really a boss fight or anything, but it is a cinematic confrontation that involves strategically allowing yourself to be shrunken down so that you can access places you normally couldn't. Once you find the bowling ball upstairs, you're able to knock down the tentacles guarding the tied-up Dr. Edison and the Sludge-O-Matic in the basement.
Once you shut down the Sludge-O-Matic, the old tentacle shows up, ready to make you very, very small. Once you engage him in conversation, it's up to you to select the right responses in the dialogue tree that leads to the old tentacle attempting to shoot Dr. Edison with his diminuator, but accidentally ricocheting the shot off the doctor's head mirror. Oops, you just bopped yourself, son. Once the old guy is fun-sized, our heroes step on his ass and then mail him to Siberia via hamster. That hamster mail is so tight though.
Thanks to the actions of Laverne and Dr. Edison, the sludge-o-matic is deactivated, meaning that there is no sludge for Purple Tentacle to slurp up the next day. All the tentacles begin to disappear, signifying that the plan worked. Afterwards, Laverne asked the doctor to return them to normal, but it turns out they were never really fused in the first place. Good job, team. Way to use those detective skills.
Everyone is relieved that everything has gone back to normal, except for, the tentacle-inspired American flag that's now a part of American history, not to mention the countless other ways that this crew of flunkies has undoubtedly screwed up history. Hoagie practically traumatizes the founding fathers. America has got to be different in other ways. Are these guys the reason why we don't have cheese balls anymore? You maniacs! You blew it up! Damn you! Damn you all to hell! Unfortunately, Day of the Tentacle Remastered doesn't really have any completion bonuses to speak of, but it does have some cool little extras here and there. If you prefer to play through the game in its original format, you can switch between it and the updated version at any time. On top of that, you can even play a full version of Maniac Mansion by going into Weird Ed's room and using the computer 5 times in a row. Pretty cool.
There's also a neat developer commentary track that you can listen to as you play through the game, which offers a lot of cool insight into what it was like creating the game. Also, if you like unlocking stuff, you can unlock a ton of concept art from the game as you progress. It's all viewable in the game's gallery, and just like the rest of the art in Day of the Tentacle, it looks great.
But of course, you don't get anything for collecting all of these images or beating the game. I'm starting to think that real completion bonuses have become a lost art. Wouldn't you know it, Day of the Tentacle Remastered has its own set of trophies, and there are a lot of them too. But thank the Lord, most of them are acquired by naturally progressing through the game. And many of the ones that aren't, you'll likely stumble upon by simply attempting to solve puzzles. And the remaining trophies are extremely simple to acquire as long as you know where to look for them.
The trophy list is actually a nice little laundry list of things to try out as you play. Satisfying the criteria for some of these trophies leads to some cool moments in dialogue. That being said, beating this game without a guide can take a long time thanks to some of the more obtuse puzzles.
It's really easy to get stuck since there's a lot of characters, locations, and items you need to keep track of in your head. If you're determined to beat the game without a guide, prepare to get stuck at least once or twice. But if that's not your idea of a good time, you can always just look it up. As for our personal playthrough Day of the Tentacle Remastered, there were 3 hours of total playtime with an additional 2 hours of picked up gameplay for trophies and achievements. 58 trophies earned, 68 items flushed through time, 2 Chrono Johns repaired, 1 diamond purchased illegally, thousands of purple tentacles thwarted, and countless lives destroyed due to some bumbling kids mucking about with time travel. Day of the Tentacle Remastered isn't difficult, but there are instances where it'll leave you scratching your head for a while. However, these moments are necessary for the satisfying aha moments to exist, and the fun far outweighs the frustration here.
Day of the Tentacle Remastered is the essential remastering for a game of this caliber. Veterans can simply push a button and be right back in the DOS days of the past. And I know we didn't talk about this much, but the ability to transfer items instantly saves a lot of time in the later game.
There's not really a completionist bonus here, but the 156 pieces of behind-the-scene art are fun to look at. Newer gamers might actually struggle a little bit with this game because of its grassroots, but this game is just as wonderful as I remember it being when I played it when I was a kid. So, with that in mind, guys, we give this game our completionist rating of Complete It.
Complete it! Hold it! Stop right there, Mr. Completionist. You thought you could put just another ad in one of your videos and get away with it? Not on my watch.
Huh? How did I get here? Huh? Crossworth, what are you doing here?
I'm here to stop you from shamelessly promoting Crunchyroll, the go-to internet streaming platform for all your anime needs.
Grossworth, I think you're about to start—
Objection! Don't interrupt me while I'm delivering my speech.
Okie dokie.
Crunchyroll offers 25,000 episodes of your favorite anime and drama, all in glorious 1080p HD. and they're simulcast, meaning that you get them right after they're aired.
Take that! There's no way anyone could watch that much anime. Your Honor, I demand the prosecution list their favorite anime right now!
Well, isn't it obvious? The prosecution loves anime. Some of my favorite anime is, haven't you heard I'm Sakamoto, Naruto, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and, of course, Ace Attorney.
Objection! Your Honor, this commercial is getting way too meta for any of us in the room. The defense demands a more focused approach.
I'll show you focused. Crunchyroll was created for fans, by fans. It's your one-stop shop for all things anime. You can stream it to your PlayStation, Xbox, Wii U, Apple TV, iOS, Android, and Roku devices.
Whoa! I don't want to jump into this with cold feet. There's gotta be some kind of deal that we can make out of this.
Take that! Go to crunchyroll.com/defendit to sign up for your free 1-month trial of Crunchyroll Premium today. Watch all the anime you want in glorious 1080p HD. If you sign up today, it supports all future episodes of Defend It and Completionist. Crunchyroll, it's anime at its best.
Hold it! Anime!
Anime!
What the hell was that?
Hey guys, thanks for watching today's episode of The Completionist. Before we start our end sequence, I just want to give a huge spotlight and thank you to Ian, aka BrutalMoose. We actually did a video together on his channel, so if you want to give it a click right over here in the corner, that would be awesome. Also, please subscribe to him. And if you missed last week, I got to interview Reggie Fils-Aimé, the CEO of Nintendo of America, and there's a link to that right here in this corner here. Thank you guys so much for all your support. It means so much to all of us. That's all the time we have for today, guys, so please, as always, let us know what you thought about today's episode somewhere on the internet. Question of the day, what is your favorite point-and-click adventure, and why? Ian, it was awesome having you here on the show. A true honor, man. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you taking the time and letting me come along for this journey.
Yeah, man, thanks for coming along. Nothing like some good old friendship to get some nostalgia about the game.
I'm not nostalgic, Gerard. This was the first time I'd play the game.
Yeah, duder.
What?
Guys, if you haven't already, please subscribe to BrutalMoose. I have not seen such bravery. You guys have to subscribe to him. He is so good. I love his videos. I love his face. I love all you guys at home. Now, if you excuse me, here's me being a fool, singing Star Wars theme by saying psh earlier. The psh is a PSH, like a psh whatever. Here you go. Psh, 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 da, psh, ba-da, ba, ba-da, psh, da-da, psh, ba, psh, ba-da, ba, ba-da, psh, ba-da, psh, ba, psh, ba-da, ba, ba-da, ba-da, psh, ba, 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 ba-da, ba-da, psh, ba, 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 ba-da, psh, da, ba-da, psh.